and then things start working finally.
And each team will have to kind of consider whether or not they ban off of individual players' tier lists or overall champion tier lists. And I feel like overall, in pick and ban, across all competitive leagues in League of Legends, we're in a very fresh and unexplored space right now. I'd say even before the 5.5 patch, I was hearing murmurs from a lot of teams that we were going to be seeing a lot of new stuff on the 5.4 patch. We saw a little bit of it out of the LCK. We saw mid lane Sion with Banner of Command. We've seen support Aurelia, support Maokai, Udyr in the jungle. And that was before we even had Cinderhulk.
True.
So you're kind of throwing a lot of preconceived notions out the window here, and teams are feeling more free to try stuff because they're getting rewarded, typically speaking, when they try.
That's true, absolutely, especially just when you consider the fact that when you bring out new stuff, no one's practiced against it before. How many games, seriously, has Bjergsen played against Midurgot as Zed? Maybe 2, like literally ever in solo queue, and you know, good luck building a team comp if you don't know that's coming. First pick Sion does come through here for ZionSpartan, and the thing is that could very easily be jungle Sion.
Going mid lane, like honestly,
sure, or that.
Going support. Sion,
all 4 lanes.
He is actually capable of something like that. For those of you who don't know, there was a mid-game Banner of Command Sion in the LCK because they're against a heavily AP team composition, just kind of showing you how crazy some things are getting. I was even joking with Scar right before the game. I was like, you got anything special planned? He's like, no, just standard stuff. Top lane, Katarina. Mid lane Sion, Banner of Command, support Nautilus. I'm like, yeah, standard stuff.
Standard stuff, indeed. Well, it looks like the Dignitas have chosen to keep reading the same book from before as well. LeBlanc going to be there, I assume, for Shiphtur, but who knows? Could be crazy. Right now, the hover on Janna for KiWiKid. The, of course, Sivir Annie was banned away, so Dignitas going next things in their tier lists.
Yeah, I like those picks, honestly. Sion is such a tank presence that as soon as you see it picked that early, immediately Team Dignitas needs to find ways of working around it if they're not going to try and shred right through it. So LeBlanc and Janna, very good for that mobile game to both kite Sion out and work around him to get damage on other targets.
All right, we'll see then what those other damage dealers end up being, because LeBlanc one-shotting Sion ain't going to happen. So CoreJJ and maybe Gamsu, what are they going to be doing for this one? Xmithie so far, giving a shout-out to Udyr, just because he can.
SKT Tom played that last week, but it was on the 5.4 patch. He ended up building the Juggernaut item, which is no longer in the game.
Yeah, but that's okay. We're gonna
also, you should not pick that champion into Janna.
That's
a relative rule.
That'd be pretty rough, so instead the look is going to be towards Vi. No stranger to see her in champ select, but I think she's great against Janna just because you can't knock her back until after she's done the knockup. Thresh for Aphromoo wants to be a playmaker. No big surprise there either. So Doublelift said you can play anything. So Thresh.
Yeah. All the talk of craziness and very standard fare from CLG. North America still showing some favoritism towards Vi. You can see North American LCS 19 wins there to very few losses. Whereas in the European LCS, Vi is barely ever seen, was not seen at all last week.
That's true.
Definitely some regional differences in the champion picks right there. Obviously, CLG going to be looking to lock down some singular targets with that pick.
Yeah, and it's interesting too, because this is after some actually specific nerfs to Vi in the last couple of patches as well. The ulti cooldown, I believe, or ulti base damage, rank 1 and 2, got lowered. Dignitas,
and base move speed as well.
Yeah, base move speed was the other one. That's the numbers I was looking for here. Dignitas, though, going to start putting in a couple more fun things for themselves. Let's get some magic damage dealers. Why the heck not? Zach looks like it will be picked up for, I assume, Azingy, and I'm going to guess top Hecarim for Gamsu.
One jungle Zach game in the European LCS. A tank jungler some people think will make a comeback. It'll be interesting to see what type of early presence Vi can have on that guy. One special thing you get about Zach is you don't need a whole bunch of initiation on your team in order to run him, because he can always make a fight on his own. And they also get a lot of target selection freedom. Again, another person that can go over top of Sion, so to speak. All 3 of their damage dealers that Dignitas have picked so far can jump over Sion.
Well, we're going to see what happens now with the rest of this, because CounterLogic Gaming have locked in their full lineup. Link will be playing Assassin. I'm sorry, that is not mid Sion. That is going to be top Sion after all. But
you don't know that, freak.
All right, Zion can play Ahri. We're going to have support Vi, mid Thresh, you know, all these fun things coming on here. But no, Doublelift will get his Kalista, and the final pick will be Tristana here for CoreJJ. Now, there are some small buffs in 5.5. Rapid Fire comes off cooldown a bit faster, but still not the hypercarry we're used to seeing from the old Tristana. More of a mid-game champion.
I'm a little bit perplexed by that Tristana pick from CoreJJ. I was not exactly sure what he would have picked in that. It's just I haven't seen him on much Tristan. With the Sivir band, he didn't have much left. Didn't want to pick Corki against Sion, and they want some heavy physical damage, so it makes sense in that context. Overall, though, the team composition's somewhat standard, versatile stuff from CLG, able to play multiple ways, and Team Dignitas definitely going for the hard engage.
All right, well, Dignitas going for the hard engage with a pretty safe AD carry on the back line. Worth noting, Triss, Janna definitely have plenty of siege power.
Yes.
One cool thing about Explosive Charge is that it doesn't count as an auto attack, so it gets through that fortification bonus for the first 7 minutes. And you Janna shield that, it's a whole bunch of damage coming out. So turret sieging, definitely a real threat from these guys. Handshake comes out from Skara and Rico of CLG and Dignitas respectively. As the LCS logo blurs out, we're going to get ourselves into the game in a second. So, you guys, online, get on your phones, get on your computers. We want to know who you think is going to win the game. Tweet hashtag CLG win or hashtag DIG win to @LOL Esports on Twitter. And tally up the votes once we're in game. You can show who you think is going to do better in their first game of 5.5.
Absolutely. We get ourselves into this CLG versus Team Dignitas game. Freak, I'm also wondering how Team Dignitas will be. Not only do they have more time with Azingy, they have more time with their late season acquisition as a coach in Rico. I'm really wondering here. This is a hard game for Team Dignitas to win when you're looking at the schedule against a team that is right in the conversation for best team in North America.
Well, you could say that about Gravity versus TSM, and they sure turned that one pretty impressively. So you always got to give a thought that maybe the underdogs can make it happen here. One upset so far on the day. We'll see if Dignitas can make it 2 here in Game 4 of Week 8. Counterlogic Gaming, early aggressive invade. I've actually seen them do this one multiple times. Trinket on front of the base gate usually, one between the 2 turrets, one in front of Raptors. And now if they want to camp in this jungle, they can. And they can take a buff, or they can just hop right back out and know what the enemy team's up to.
I absolutely feel like CLG is just going to play the lane swap game. Even if they could win the lanes, Sion versus Hecarim, or Kalista Thresh versus Tristana Janna, CLG has just been so dominant in early game lane swap matches.
True, but
that it makes them want to do that. But that ward vision that just spotted out CLG is not something that they would necessarily plan for.
It's definitely a big unknown.
Yeah. It's a very rare ward spot.
Yeah.
The Team Dignitas managed to place to catch CLG a little bit off guard. Doublelift did just see the ward die.
Okay.
In the top lane, so he pinged it. So CLG will at least know that they were spotted.
But at the same time, looks like nothing new going to be done anyway. Jungler and support are going to be going ahead and taking down the Krugs by themselves. Doublelift pulls the leash. Yeah, there we go. Once they all aggro him, into the brush he goes. That's how you build the freeze, guys. Just wait till the last caster minion sees you, then just hop in the brush. You don't have to do much else than that. Just wait for all 6. Freeze is there. Aphromoo shows back to top lane. He can last hit one of those for Doublelift. Xmithie will be safe to solo jungle, as ZionSpartan will die to the Raptor camp and get himself some bonus gold. So CLG already taking 3 camps out of the top side.
ZionSpartan.
Wait, no, he didn't die. He just took it.
He cleared it without dying.
Link knocked back, then a half health already just from Gamsu with a shield. All right, yeah, I was misinformed. Okay, Zion could just take the camp down. Who needs executes?
Yeah, I mean, I guess with the buffed Q on the base AD, he did enough damage to just clear it away.
He's got 76 attack damage. I think he's just stacking attack damage runes for that purpose.
Yeah. That's a safer way of taking rates as Sion, that's for sure.
Not dying for it. Shows up to lane at level 2. CoreJJ already there himself, and with the shield is able to try to poke down his opponents. Now, Dignitas, they're still trying to build the freeze. You can see KiWiKid and CoreJJ doing that. No explosive charge learned for CoreJJ, so no automatic pushing either, but Zion just harassing KiWiKid.
Sion is a brick in 1v2 lanes. Especially once he's able to get level 3, he'll be able to throw minions at people as well. It's a little bit suboptimal for him right now, because normally when Sion is level 2, he has his W and E in a lane swap, but because he did the deathless Wraith start, needed to delay on this last spell. But if you look at this, because of the level disparity, even though he's in a 1v2, he's able to generally not get denied much minion experience.
Yeah, the freeze isn't very far away from the CLG turret just yet because of how you tend to freeze these things. So showing up early, Keith's in a decent spot. KiWiKid is farming plenty of gold off of his Spell Thief's Edge, but it's not like it's going to be game-breaking here, so ZionSpartan kind of ignoring that income stream. Now, on the same side, though, Gamsu actually getting very little for himself. 3 CS, only level 2, definitely farther behind of ZionSpartan here, which could become a concern when the lanes eventually swap back.
And incredibly early pink wards coming out on the map for CLG. They already have one in the side, left side of the mid lane for some link safety. This game very quickly becomes about where the supports roam, since we do just have Doublelift trying to solo away in that top lane.
Yeah. Azingy with 1 defensive ward for himself is able to get through his jungle and watch some of the gank routes. In fact, he will see that Thresh is coming right now to stop him, but of course similar wards from CLG know that Azingy is there. Shiphtur goes for a trade into Link. Pretty good amount of damage, actually.
Really aggressive move there by Shiphtur because he doesn't have proper vision control for that.
Oh.
I mean, that's why it was an aggressive move. There's
Right.
so much roaming in these lane swaps. Knowing CLG has pink ward control on that side and then still going in for an aggressive move. He ended up winning the trade, but because CLG provided backup, he lost his flash. Kind of lucky to not lose his life.
Yeah, well, overall, though, good play by KiWiKid Gaming and a required flash by Shiphtur. A predicted hook by Aphromoo. KoreJJ looks for the rocket jump, misses it thanks to ZionSpartan's Q. And it's just Zion happily. He's not getting farm, but he's certainly not getting pushed around here. Level 4 on himself, close to 5, I imagine. And now he is getting to wave 3. Now he is getting some money in.
He might be changing his skill order as well. We've seen lane Sion so frequently max the E, but he is definitely maxing that decimating smash Sion Q, which already, at level 5, if he max charges it, does 350 physical damage. How's that for wave clear?
Yeah, pretty good. He practically one-shots the casters at level 5 himself, and that's going to be nice and happy. CoreJJ still not with explosive charge, but he's the one who gets pushed in overall. How's that for a lane freeze? Under your turret now. Go ahead, Dignitas, have fun with that one. Gamsu only level 3. Not far from leveling up, I imagine, but you can see just a very deep freeze by CLG, denying him all this gold.
Yeah, it's in the experience right now that Team Dignitas is down. It's a 2-level discrepancy on the top lane champions. Outside of that, though, I would say that CLG is not dominating this lane phase as well as we would normally see. We'll have to see how the transition happens here. Team Dignitas will have to do some magic in this transition to not let this Sion take over.
Doesn't quite land it. KiWiKid will be allowed to recall for a couple more potions and a Sight Stone. Okay. So first Sight Stone of the game comes in for Janna. And we'll see if Dignitas can get some decent wards down for themselves. Maybe they can make something happen off Superior Vision, as Aphromoo is making his own recall for probably a similar item.
The CS has been actually fairly heavily denied. ZionSpartan only at 20 to the 53, but it's all about in comparison to the other top lane. Watching ZionSpartan,
he's up 300 gold.
Really just, yeah, stare in the face of 2 players, whereas Gamsu has severely struggled, is the reason for this lane swap.
Nice hook, but KiWiKid's already here. And by the way, Azingy's not far. Gamsu tanks the Ignite. He's going to ult in Thresh for the knockup. Gamsu might survive, because here comes Azingy. Zephyr Slow comes in. Doublelift unafraid. Actually wants to chase this down. Forces Dig back in a 2v3.
That's trouble. Janna roams up. They're giving ZionSpartan even more farm because of that roam. And now the experience advantage very quickly turns into a gold advantage because the CS is growing in difference.
It is indeed. It was actually a gold lead for Dignitas not long ago, but no longer is this the case. CoreJJ under threat, but only level 5 on Vi means Rocket Jump is all he needs to escape right now. But he's now out of wards, and his Janna went top lane. It's dark for CoreJJ. He can't reliably stay in this lane and feel safe about it.
Yeah, I think he's going to be able to pick up this wave, though, just because he knows ZionSpartan is yet to shop.
Thankfully under turret, but Vi had hit 6 there, so now if he doesn't get any wards after this recall, he's under, again, just a lot of threat. That there is a chance of Vi.
There really is. I mean, COD biding their time in this early game, for the most part, but they're honestly taking a multitude of small victories, mainly to do with that top lane, but even the mid lane is doing fairly well. Link, 10 CS advantage onto Shiphtur. We're really going to have to see how the jungle ends up playing out here.
Ooh, Chain's gonna land, dodges back. No skill shots really dodged, but Link's still at half HP here. Same items in the mid laners. Small CS lead, and actually a lot of people coming now to show up near this mid lane. Support top laner for one side, support on the other. Shiphtur gets blue buff though, unimpeded by Aphromoo and Xmithie. They were a few seconds late to stop that. They get the wards down afterwards. And Shiphtur looks like he's going to be back to being safe. Dignitas his own gank crew. Quick knock up on Link. Janna was here. Out they go.
Thinking about the team fights in this game as well, there's going to be some difficulty for Team Dignitas to get the right target selection. Typically speaking, Kalista is weak against things that can just point and click on her to kill. LeBlanc is the only one of those really, depending on Doublelift's reaction time and the cooldown of his flash. The Hecarim and Zac are somewhat dodgeable, which puts a lot of pressure on Doublelift to dodge properly. It also puts pressure on Team Dignitas to flank around this Sion, because they will not be able to fight this Sion. They have to go around him.
Yeah, this is pretty rough right now. 2-level lead over the enemy top laner. Of course, it's a fairly escapeless Gamsu as well. Shiphtur just getting the poke down repeatedly. I want to see how they do navigate around this gigantic tank who's also bullying his lane very heavily. So not only in teamfights, but just in the laning phase. Eventually that turret's going to have a chance to die.
And they just got TP advantage as well. Hecarim had to teleport back into that lane. Shiphtur, again. This time he has his ultimate and flash, so he could have easily just mimicked his distortion back. Again.
I think Dignitas, though, playing for the bottom side of the map. Now they are, again, at a TP disadvantage, so Sion can show up. Gamsu cannot. Xmithie's going to lose his Raptor buff off a cute ward by KiWiKid. Oh, they don't stop him. He's going to get it. Darn.
Well, the thing is, they have to respect the Sion teleport now.
It's true.
They know there's a teleport disadvantage, so CLG is free to try and get vision control here and really try and put some pressure on these lanes. It almost feels like CLG's lane swapping is so good every game that they're just winning off of that sometimes. ZionSpartan absolutely crushing that top side of the map, and because of the teleport advantage, can maybe now let the CLG guys go wherever they want. There they go!
Oh, they choose to go mid lane, jump on in, they catch Shiphtur, who he dashes over the second cube. But here comes Sion out the juke back! He's gonna dodge the Q! Shiphtur with the outplay! He's gonna get away from ZionSpartan! Yes, he does! The minion throw! The flash Q! First blood, ZionSpartan!
But that's quickly traded back. That took so long. Hecarim could run down, and now Zion's gone too deep.
Oh man, he is surrounded by everyone else. What can he do for this one? His flash is down. There's the auto attacks. CoreJJ to put the explosive charge on, knock him back in. Why the heck not? And he is now a zombie. Azingy forced to run away. Gamsu unafraid.
Dignitas comes out the beneficiary of that because Shiphtur was a god on LeBlanc there, dodging pretty much everything that he could. He doesn't get any credit. 0-1-0 on the LeBlanc now, but he is the one who created those 2 kills for Team Dignitas, and that keeps them in the game after that horrendous lane swap phase.
Hold on, it might get even worse. Xmithie very low on health. Azingy with the completed Cinderhulk. Ulti, of course, was already down. Could have used that to kill Xmithie, maybe, but just an escaping vibe. But this gives Azingy time to get deep wards as well. He's got wards in inventory for this.
So, to start this off, nothing Shiphtur can do about the ult into Charm. But Enny's low, he still had his initial W up. That jump back was incredible. Flash dodges the spell, and then Sion comes for him. He jukes in so many amazing ways. And then they get the kill in mid lane.
Wow, that was without Azingy's ultimate as well. So just great Charm utilization, great ultis by Shiphtur. And Dignitas now 3-1. They are still not up in gold just yet because of the laning phase. But certainly showing they can fight back.
If Zac and LeBlanc do get going, though, that could be so potent for Team Dignitas here. Jumping around and over top of ZionSpartan Sion. Zac also escaping the early game now, 1-0-2 for Azingy. Puts him in a very comfortable situation. There was no... You know, the first ultimate from Xmithie actually results in deaths for the team, when normally that Vi ultimate is like money in the bank for your first gank.
True.
This game just became very dangerous for Counterlogic Gaming.
Yeah, turns out taking down Dignitas ain't easy. Doublelift. Be afraid of this one. Gets knocked up by a Howling Gale. He's going to win the 1v1, but it's just about buying time. So, congrats, KiWiKid earned himself 18 gold. Xmithie, though, on a nice play. Looks for the Dragon. Azingy.
Check it.
Oh!
He doesn't have smite, but he wants to...
Well played.
Super well played by Xmithie. Very calm, cool, and collected, finishing that one up.
Azingy now, not only did he miss the dragon, missed the brush. Poor Zach. Double Ruby Crystal, still no boots, surprises me slightly. But either way, CoreJJ, still some free time to push the bot lane down. Doublelift, delayed recall because of KiWiKid gives CoreJJ the time to hit this turret. He's even got backup if someone does show.
Yeah, they're going to try and go for this. This is went a little bit early.
Really over-aggressive by CoreJJ. They should have waited for Azingy.
CoreJJ definitely gave that one away. I feel like Doublelift and Aphromoo would have exposed themselves. Bit of a missed opportunity there for sure.
Well, all that said and done, though, now equal to gold. Finally, Dignitas clawing their way back into this game. They're down a dragon, but that's not worth too terribly much just yet. And we go back to the holding phase of the lanes. Now, we've seen much worse top lanes than this for ZionSpartan getting ahead of a duo lane. When CLG played Gravity, it was like 200 to 70, practically.
And ZionSpartan was on Hecarim at the time.
Yeah.
This one, because of the early home guard boots by Gamsu, but more importantly because of the kill and assist he was able to pick up in that mid lane. Make it somewhat close. The turret going down now, though, is CLG kind of cashing in on the big advantage they had earlier.
All right, so a 40 minion lead for the top lane, of course, still a sizable lead. We'll see how the lane dynamics play out later on in this game. Shiphtur still trying to push around Link, but these guys trading basically equal.
Yeah. Well, when Team Dignitas had the mini resurgence around week 4 and 5, it was on the back of Shiphtur's Kassadin. So getting him onto champions that he can assassinate with, not just long-range damage deal pokers, pushes him into a almost level of forced aggression.
Yeah.
Shiphtur has an issue sometimes with getting too passive, but when he's on a champion that has that ability to go in and out, it really plays to his strengths.
And you can see it here. He's doing well against one of the best mid laners in the North American LCS with Link. So far, maybe so good for Dignitas. Got to look control, because why not? And instead, we should look for maybe what else could be going on the map? What are the wards looking like? What else can these players go for? No deep vision at all for Counterlogic Gaming. Dignitas actually have a fair bit. The South Jungle is host to a couple of these red-colored wards here. They don't have any specific intrinsic value, but it does allow you to make plays if something good does happen. Xmithie,
well,
sees one of them.
I would definitely say that Team Dignitas has a lot of wards, but they're definitely not playmaking wards. Those are defensive wards. With the dragon down, the bottom lane turret killed, the only thing that those river wards will spot are impending ganks to the mid or bottom lane. Dignitas can't make any aggressive moves off of those, which is kind of what they would need to do with the LeBlanc going toe-to-toe with Link in the mid lane. This pink ward is, I guess, a bridge to trying to get mid lane pressure, but they can't even get that because the back timings were off. CLG, I think, is winning the ward game a little bit, spending, I'd say, maybe even a little bit less on wards early, but getting about the same amount of payoff for him.
Well, then well done by Counterlogic Gaming. Kind of less money wasted in a certain way of bringing it up. Azingy now does have his Sightstone. Weirdly, he is wearing double Ruby Crystal, which could have just been a Sightstone, but buys it now later on.
Get those tank stats.
Yeah, sure. I guess
Still no boots. Still no boots.
Still no boots.
He flies through the air real fast. He better land on someone, otherwise he's not doing much.
Well, he can slow him with Q. Maybe something will happen weird. He'll get. He's gonna move faster because of Janna. Easy, right? Just walk at her and you'll be fine. Maybe. We'll see. Charm will pull him in. Who knows? Overall, though, Counterlogic Gaming looking a bit more aggressive now themselves. Xmithie setting up camp in the bottom lane for Doublelift and Aphromoo. Doublelift says, you know, we're looking to play pretty aggressive in this lane. I'm sad to not see the skin coordination, though. Aphromoo wearing the wrong skin to pair up with this Kalista. But
we have to watch teleports here if something ends up happening. I was expecting maybe a CLG dive, but nope. They're going to end up defending that turret. Team Dignitas managed to make the rotation there and prevent the vast majority of turret damage.
All right, so turret stays afloat. CLG, though, still wanting to pressure this one. They've got that same combo here. Azingy near that side of the map. Top lane just holding equal, 30 CS difference, still only one level apart, though.
Yeah, they've lost river control here, and they're getting pushed in across every dimension there. Azingy, great ult, though.
Wow, they really caught up Doublelift. He's trying to get out. He's going to die to CoreJJ. Trade on ults. Aphromoo there for the knockup, but guess what? Janna pulls him right back into the turret. Xmithie now getting jumped on. That's going to be a second kill. Dig going 2 for 0 so far. CoreJJ shows back up 3 for 0 as Aphro falls down. Dignitas looking great.
Yeah, CLG was trying to push in from every avenue. Team Dignitas picked one decisively and get 3 kills. To be honest, though, that's exactly what they need to go a little bit ahead in this trade. Their side turrets are going down pretty fast. Gamsu, though, with home guards. Shiphtur with rotation. Dignitas wins across all fronts.
And so there we go. Bottom lane, tier 2, under fire. Janna shielded. Tristana gonna take those
Sion
down
teleporting
fast.
in behind Team Dignitas.
And he looks for right where the red buff steal is happening. Slows down. Azingy goes for the Q, lands a bit. And here comes Link. Here's the engage. Azingy gets locked up, has to burn 2 flashes to get out. Charm means a little bit. He's gonna pop the passive, but Shiphtur's here on the backside. Sion flashes in. Link is low. Shiphtur tries to get the kill, but a lantern. No, it's gonna be the kill anyway. ZionSpartan comes back as Azingy does fall, but Zion's got literally nowhere to go. So Aphromoo shows up. In comes everyone else. Xmithie gets a kill into CoreJJ. CLG still wants to battle. Gamsu forced to gallop out of this one. Advantage CLG of all things.
Even the dragon wanted back in the pit for that fight. Everybody decided to just go, what a hook!
Oh my god, the flay, the Q, Doublelift gets the kill. CLG back on the board, 5-7.
Yeah, well, Dignitas threw a nice punch. CLG got right back up and threw an even better one. It didn't look pretty for ZionSpartan when he was ulting in, but because of the respawn timers and because the fight was extended so long, CLG was able to come out of that one just a little bit ahead. But that is a lot more chaos than we were expecting.
That is a lot more chaos, absolutely. But here's the fight again.
Chaos. Yeah, so this is the second part of the fight when CLG was trying to come back here. And the important thing we got to mention there is the fact that A, Link lands the charm, but B, ZionSpartan is willing to flash over that wall. And the max charge Q here is really important. Look how he pretty much kills every single Zac blob, minus the one that he has to shout for. Aphromoo doesn't have his lantern in. Initially, he was hoping to get ZionSpartan out. He says, nah, let's go in, guys. Everyone else backs him up. Doublelift from the back of the pit, Xmithie over the top. And because Team Dignitas had spent so much there on Ahri, by the time the rest of the CLG cavalry arrived, they could take him out for the team fight, win the second dragon.
Well, really nice things then. Counterlogic Gaming put themselves back within a lead, actually. They're up 2,000 gold here and 2 dragons to nothing, so good things overall. Bot lane tier 2, of course, did not die from CoreJJ's siege. Dig going for the red buff slowed them down, but now it's a dragon, or sorry, Baron attempt here. But Dig is nearby. They seem to know about this. You're seeing Gamsu.
Yeah. They seem to know. There's a pink ward in the back of the pit that just got placed.
Yeah.
So they had to bail out, and they definitely didn't want to spend 5 hits on that pink ward. That was definitely a sneak attempt, which has its costs. They lose that mid lane turret because they were trying for the Baron.
Well, nice attempt there by CLG, but Baron sneak will not happen here early on into the game. Good heads-up play by Dignitas to see that one coming. Doublelift still some time to go before his own Hurricane. Just kidding. He bought it. That time was 2 seconds. I wasn't completely wrong in this one. Link also with a lot of magic resist to his name, maybe can survive Shiphtur's plays.
Interestingly, that's a slightly different Ahri build than we ended up seeing cropping up a lot at IM Katowice. I've seen a lot of Athene's Unholy Grail to Abyssal, just the full MR stack against another magic damage dealer, but both these guys decided to go a little bit more team fight focused and a little bit more dangerous in the lane. More damage overall from those Morellonomicons. But we could see them assassinate each other for sure.
Well, he's facing 2 healers, keep in mind. It's a Hecarim and a Zac. And even a Janna ultimate. Getting Grievous Wounds down is actually a pretty substantial damage increase in a team fight. Zion misses the cannon. What a scrub. Worst Sion NA. Yeah, that's right. You know your shame. He's angry now.
He's going to clear
missed half of them as well. Zion not learning his lessons at all.
He's got to respect that red buff, man.
That's true.
Team Dignitas definitely sticking around in this one, and Azingy finally picking up boots, getting pretty tanky on that Zac. I can't wait for these team fights to see if CLG can execute properly and whether or not Team Dignitas can jump around.
Well, that's the funny about CLG. They don't like
Sometimes they don't.
Fight.
Sometimes they win without team fights.
Yeah, they just take Baron without a jungler. Because who needs that, right? They have Ren. Azingy puts the ward down. He's like, wait a second, guys. Ren's at like 60 stacks right now. That's an exaggeration, but it's probably like a 2,400 point Ren here.
Yeah, it's going down. Any second now. The fight has to be now.
And they push out him in time. Azingy hopping around. Shiphtur kills off Aphromoo. 2 kills at the start. CoreJJ goes on in. Zion's already low from Baron. He's going to charge away.
Oh,
he dies to the
no.
Ignite anyway, and now can't help the team. Guess what? Now Dignitas get the Baron. There's the smite, and guess what? Dignitas in the lead.
Oh, how the tables have turned. CLG not wanting to find a team fight, despite having an incredibly fed frontline Sion try a second Baron that is again spotted out by Team Dignitas. But this time, the retreat was too late for CLG. Team Dignitas take the fight and the Baron.
And DJ Baron in this game turning the tables better than Sona ever could. And Dignitas now with Baron buff looking to push down as many lanes as possible.
There's no DJ Sona in this game, Freak, no need. But honestly, right here, CLG just had the timing wrong. There's a Hecarim in the bottom lane. They did not successfully stop the jungler. And then they end up getting split up. CLG is in a position where they actually could have team fought, but they're outsmarting themselves, trying to take the game without conflict. Conflict comes to their doorstep right there. Zach finding fights wherever he wants. Hecarim being able to initiate onto anyone. Not taking the benefit of having a strong frontline Sion, and Team Dignitas using their target selection benefits to their benefit.
Yeah.
And really coming ahead in this game. Now CoreJJ with 2 big-time items will be a very scary Tristana.
Oh, that is a very real Tristana, and Xmithie and ZionSpartan have to be afraid, especially with Zion dipping in for a little bit of MR. That Spectre's Cowl not going to help him much against Tristana's decent sustained output here. So now, CoreJJ Gaming forced to play the defensive game. How much do you want to split push against a Baroned up team, knowing those minion waves don't die very fast and the champions themselves powered up as well? Now, Dragon will be up during this Baron buff of Dignitas. It's about a 30-second overlap here. CLG is still not wanting to play too defensively, though they're down in gold and that Baron buff. But bottom is this is a dead turret.
Yeah, and I mean at this point I really wonder if CoreJJ Gaming can actually win the team fights. You have the Janna for disengage, you have all the guys that can jump around the Sion to get onto the squishy targets. CLG might be trying to win this one in the rotations, but that Janna Trist killed turrets a little bit fast.
Well, we mentioned how good this combo was at taking turrets down. CoreJJ has to respect Sion. Rocket jumped over a wall. It's a pretty good way to do it.
And now the Dragon's up. No Sion ultimate to stop.
And that red buff goes down. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Dignitas now ready to continue their global objective control. Thanks to this great Baron buff they managed to get for themselves. ZionSpartan, I guess he could flash the wall if he wanted to.
Round 2. No, definitely not. Definitely not. Team Dignitas taking control of this game.
Wow. Well, people were always concerned, saying, you know, why not go back to Cloud Win? They had a 3-3 record with him. That's not too bad. That's pretty all right. But Azingy showing that this extra time to prepare, Dignitas looking pretty good overall as a unit. They came into this game sitting at 8th place, not a spot they really wanted to be. They are in that playoff run.
Yeah, and to look back at this game, Team Dignitas withstood the impeccable lane swapping of CLG early. Gamsu did have that level and experience discrepancy, but the others were sticking in there, and then they needed a little bit of help, something to break their way. To be fair, Team Dignitas didn't make any extraordinary play here. CLG kept trying Baron again and again, and Team Dignitas correctly punished that move, and now it's all about them, Team Dignitas, executing and trying to close out this game, which has become very close, and with Team Dignitas in the lead.
Dignitas in the lead by 2,000 gold, their first Dragon on the books finally for themselves. What else can they pick up? Of course, 5.5, the mid-tier 2 no longer has that shielding turret at all. Top lane tier 2 only has a 30-point shield, that one's pretty easy. And top lane outer, in fact, is still up for the taking. There's actually a lot of gold on the map that Dig, I would assume, could take reasonably easy, given just one good quick rotation. So,
well, they're just
willing to play aggressive.
They're just using Tristana as a turret destructor wherever they go on the map. So CoreJJ and KiWiKid, I think, are going to stay together as well because they do want a little bit of safety for him. They're hoping that Gamsu's teleport comes up soon as well so that they can match any type of split pushing that CLG tries to do. Well, this is the smart move for Team Dignitas to make right now. KiWiKid even going in for a little bit of advanced vision. That was an incredibly aggressive ward, walking through pinks without vision to get that type of deep ward, but now that they have it, Team Dignitas can take out that outer turret, I think, without much conflict.
Yeah, well, a bit of conflict as these wards go down, but not a big concern. CoreJJ getting plenty of damage on this guy. That turret's going to almost drop just to the explosive charge. About 300 health left on top. Outer, Dignitas already moving most of their forces down. The TP up for Hecarim, and by the way, that is a naked inhibitor. He can take that down if no one stops him.
People need to respond, which means pretty much on the next wave, without conflict, Team Dignitas will get that top lane turret.
There we go.
See ya.
Easy. Janna shield helps, and CoreJJ knocks it down. 5 turrets to 3. Dignitas winning by pretty much every major metric in this game, except for minion farm, but they're playing without it.
Yeah.
Every single member actually down in CS to their opposite member of CLG, but Dig playing much better as a team. All said and done, are getting a lead out of this.
Well, to be fair, they are the only ones with team in their name. It's kind of like Team Dignitas. So,
I mean,
got to keep that in mind.
In this game, you're saying?
In this game.
Okay.
This is true. There are many teams
in the North American
North
LCS.
American LCS. Yeah. This one, though, will be very critical around this next Baron fight. A lot of times, when teams have mobility like they do on Team Dignitas, when they start trying to force objectives, they can lose the battle lines in the fight, because that is one thing that CLG kind of has that is better than Team Dignitas, is a front line and clear mid and back line threats. Team Dignitas has the Janna Trist that run around, kill turrets, stick at the back of the fight, and then the 3 dudes that dive people. Therefore, if Team Dignitas takes a fight in a confined area where they cannot flank around the Sion properly, they would still lose that fight, despite the 3,000 gold advantage. So Team Dignitas, if they decide to force that Baron, need to have people positioned to get around the Sion. Yes, they can kind of go over top, but depending on the corridors they choose, if Thresh is also there to help, it becomes an impossibility.
Playing out of Zac is something I haven't seen outside of solo queue in a really long time, but Aphromoo got to kind of remember those tendencies and stop the engages in here. Gamsu, of course, with the ulti can bypass that, but if he's the only one in, maybe life goes okay. ZionSpartan wants to pressure bottom outer turret. That one actually still hasn't gone down yet in this game, surprisingly. CLG, though, seems to be the team that wants to play aggressively. Mid lane, getting attacked with no recourse just yet. Shiphtur does not threaten them. Mid lane tier 2 goes down. CLG earning mid turret off. Good play.
Just trying to rotate Team Dignitas right now. But now that CLG has shown their hand, it's on TSM to respond. It looks like, sorry, it's on Dignitas to respond. It looks like Team Dignitas has some happy feet right now going back and forth there. I think they're hoping to catch an initiation on CLG here, but they don't have Trist. This is getting dicey. CLG might try and get this. These turrets are so strong, though.
They recall Sion. Tristana going to come back as well. A momentary time of 5v4 if they bring in CoreJJ. The hook onto Azingy. A lot of damage comes out from Doublelift, the Ren, to add insult to injury. That's a forced heal. Sion ult comes in. They want CoreJJ. The knockup lands. I don't know if he's going to win this duel. He doesn't ult him back just yet, so no
his shield
real damage being done. Finally knocks him back, but through a Thornmail Frozen Heart. The flash. ZionSpartan, CoreJJ, you're going to die anyway. Why even bother? Kill some minions. Okay, maybe he's not. He's just trying to heal. Minion gets shouted at. Rocket jump up in a few seconds, right? Flashes. But he's surrounded now. Xmithie's here.
He's got his ultimate and his flash, but the question is, does he have to burn it? I think he can take his time. Team Dignitas needs to get into a position to counter this right now.
Yeah, here comes Vi. Doesn't need either. Doesn't need either. Xmithie takes down CoreJJ. Now, time was bought to push down the mid lane. Dignitas get mid back under their own control, but CLG can't say it was bad for them.
No, that was a pretty good trade by CLG. Dragon is up. They traded middle tier turrets, and they got a very important kill, plus an even more important death time.
Yeah,
Baron try number 3 here for CLG. No way to carry on Team Dignitas. Can Azingy force this? Can Team Dignitas win a fight without an 80 carry?
7,000 health. Are they willing to battle this one? Gamsu's nearby, Xmithie on the wings, knocks around Gamsu, forces him to ult out, but in comes Vi anyway. The lockdown, Hecarim, very low on health. They turn around with KiWiKid, then goes Azingy, but it's a 1-0 to CLG's lead. Azingy locked up for basically ever. The charm hits, Xmithie comes over the top, 2-0. Zac will fall down. And the Baron bait this time goes CLG's way.
Yeah, but they didn't get the Baron. They got low enough off of that. 2 kills onto Team Dignitas, making this game even closer, and CLG does it their way as well. They got those fights because they had more people on that side of the map. An outplay from ZionSpartan, a team fight for CLG, but they all
unwilling to stop Dragon.
Ooh.
I know a couple were injured, but you gotta feel like CLG has the chance.
But do they get Baron? Do they trade Baron for this? This is a game of trading for CLG. They are so set on not meeting Team Dignitas straight up in a 5v5, but instead trying to out-rotate them. Dragons are 2-2. They don't have many people here.
There's wards here, and Gamsu's alive with teleport right now. They know how low it is.
How many spears does Kalista have
30.
in that Baron right
20,
now?
sorry.
20 right now. That's a lot of execute damage. Let's see if they go for it.
About 2,500 is the magic
Teleport
number.
from Gamsu. He's home guard.
All right, let's go. If you can CC Double, if he can't rend, they go for Xmithie first. Double's got to be a target. He puts in Aphromoo, but the kills are coming in. Vi's down, LeBlanc is down. The fight continues. CoreJJ, KiWiKid forced to get away. There's the Howling Gale knockup, so now no jungler. This is low enough that you can't guarantee the rend beats Smite, but CLG wants to stay all the same. Will the battle continue? Azingy still on the side, looking for something to do, looks for the back line. His passive's down. Easy kill for Doublelift. Back on the Baron one more time. CoreJJ once again retreats, and this will be Counter Logic Gaming's Baron.
If at first you don't succeed, try again. And CLG just kept going back to that Baron play, something that had been so disastrous earlier on that got rid of CLG's lead, is ultimately something that reacquires that lead. Doublelift actually giving some farm to Xmithie, if you can believe it.
Well, he's going for the double lifesteal build. You're pretty much done except for QSS at this point. So saying, you know what, I've hit my power spike. I'm 4-item Kalista. I can break down tanks and lifesteal them to the end of days. So okay, Xmithie. Let's see, going towards the Randuins. Yeah, he gets the giant spelled off of it.
I don't even know where to look for analysis during this game because it has been so back and forth. I think mainly CLG has just tried to rely on their superior communication and map movements, as well as the incredible strength of ZionSpartan Sion. He really caught CoreJJ off guard with that Thornmail in the top lane. That's what began that series of trades. Team Dignitas never had their entire team together for a series of 3 or 4 minutes, I would have to say. Whereas CLG had control and they were forcing Team Dignitas to make really quick decisions. This time, Dignitas didn't get the right ones, and they try and fight. Not a good initiation.
Azingy chain stun before he can do anything. A 1-for-0. Zion goes in, but misses the unstoppable onslaught, but it's just going to buy them some time for the inhibitor to go down. It is a 5v4 with Baron after all, and CLG, they're not done.
They're going to force Team Dignitas to initiate on them right now. There's no Zac, so it's just a lonely Hecarim trying to jump in there. CLG could win on the next minion wave.
Well, turret number 1 goes down. Dig still unwilling to battle. The Baroned up cannon minion becoming the artillery. Slow on to Shiphtur. No wave for a while. No, here it is right at this time. There's the engage. They find Gamsu. What a great charm! Doublelift is godlike, and turret number 2 is the attack of opportunity. Shiphtur, half health, forced to get away, just in case he wanted to go back in. You see a Sion slam, and that might be the game. Shiphtur goes in, but can't find enough to do. That's the game. CLG in 37 minutes.
It was a little rough in the middle of the game, but ultimately CLG avoids the upset and sets up another showdown for first place with TSM tomorrow.
That's going to be an absolutely great game. Dignitas had the game in their sights for a while. Their mid-game better than CLG's. How many teams can we say have played mid-game better than Counter Logic Game? And you can say that it was CLG being over-ambitious, and I'll agree with you to a certain extent, but getting a turret lead, getting a kill lead, Dignitas have looked so rough for so long.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, CLG's playstyle is often just forcing the opponent to make more decisions than they are comfortable making in a very short time frame. So whenever a team actually makes those decisions properly, it makes it look like CLG is making a mistake, but that's because CLG is aggressing so frequently. So Team Dignitas in that mid game, we're playing it very well. And it just came down that they could not maintain that pace of decision making throughout the match, and eventually CLG overtook them.
Yeah, it was nice to see Counter Logic Gaming playing aggressively. Like, they were down a Baron buff, they were down 4,000 gold, but they kept trying to make aggressive moves themselves. Sometimes it bit them. We saw Tristana take down basically 2 turrets in the bot lane, open up an inhibitor by herself. I mean, CoreJJ had a pretty darn good game. The KiWiKid CoreJJ Siege combo was strong. We saw bright spots from Dignitas with Shiphtur running around, making some pretty good plays himself on the losing end of the game, but 4-4-1, holding up against Link, making some good plays himself. I mean, there were so many good things happening here, but Dignitas are now sitting at least 2 games out of a 6th place spot.
They needed this win so much. It would have done wonders for them to move to 6 and 9 instead of 5 and 10, especially with Team Liquid dropping a game earlier, but Gravity winning the game, kind of lowering the number of teams that Team Dignitas may be able to overtake for avoiding that promotion tournament later on.
Yeah.
And CLG, with this win, you know, they set their sights on 1st place, quite honestly.
That's true. And CLG tied with that now, 3 games to go, including a fight against TSM specifically tomorrow. Of course, TSM 1-0 up against Counter Logic Gaming, but we'll see how that playoff structure ends up. First, top 2 are a bye regardless. I mean, keep in mind, Team Impulse and C9 are on your heels as well, so there's still a bit of a playoff race, but that showdown's the one to be exciting for certain, and CLG having so many missteps against Dignitas maybe has to make them really think deeply about their gameplay tonight, and hey, what can you turn around for Sunday's match?
It's going to be a good question. I mean, TSM might have to turn around a little bit more.
That's true.
This was almost a day of double upsets from the top 2 teams. Team Solo Mid definitely did not expect the Urgot mid. I don't honestly think that CLG was really ready for the Zac either. Yeah, a lot of the fights that Team Dignitas were able to win were because of really good initiations by Azingy, the often maligned new jungler on Team Dignitas. Near the end of the game, it looked a little bit rough because in order for him to go in on Zac, he needed Hecarim with him. Since he was not a super tank by any stretch of the imagination, going, you know, with the Sightstone jungler. A really entertaining game overall.
Definitely entertaining. A bit of encouragement to Dignitas, but they're 3 games out of 5th. 2.5 games away from Team 8 in 6th right now. We're going to see them up next. We'll see if Dignitas can make that playoff race or if they're stuck hoping for a 7th or 8th place finish just to kind of help their chance of staying in the LCS, if not playoffs themselves. But for now, we're going to check in with Riv, who's on